Coming in at number 14 on our list is Trick from G2 Esports. Coming in at number 14 on our list is probably our most agreeable choice yet with Trick, two-time European LCS MVP. All of us ranked him 14th somehow, the first one we've agreed on. Deficio, you're from Europe. Talk about Trick.
Yeah, Trick, what a story, honestly. He came in at the start of this season here. He joined G2, just qualified from Challenger. They made some roster changes. He came in with Emperor as the two Koreans. And we heard some good stuff about him from Korea. Obviously, he was a sub. Didn't get to play that much, but actually beat SKT when he played on CJ, and he was subbed in for a few games. So that was quite an interesting story with Trick. But we knew this guy was very, very mechanically gifted. We didn't really know much else about him as a person. Honestly, week one, Trick shows up big time. He just out-jungles the enemy jungler. He's pressure on the map, his vision, he's ganking, he's doing everything. And he just continued doing that for the entire year. That's why he's 2 times MVP. He's so versatile in his role. He can go for both styles of like invading enemy jungle or ganking. He can actually do both.
Yeah, and I think so much of this is just the map pressure and the pathing that he has. Not to mention, he ends up carrying a lot of the games. Most kills for junglers, fewest deaths for junglers. That means he's almost always in the right place at the right time. And you wouldn't look at this guy and say he's a KDA player, right? And you don't be a KDA player if you're also getting most kills. It just means he's generally good across the board. But with that being said, we do need to talk about like how he would be better on this list or how he would be worse in this list, because we actually are in kind of agreement with 14.
I'll kick off the how he could be better. He has one blemish, and it was the MSI run. And that was, I'm not going to put it down to G2 as a whole team. His individual play in that tournament, in my opinion, was a little bit lacking as well. He was making very brash decisions, and you could see that he was getting carried away a little bit. And I think that Trick plays at such a high level. There is such a low margin for error that when he does make an error, I mean, it looks much worse than it actually is. So I think that if MSI hadn't have happened, if somehow G2 comes in and absolutely dominates that tournament, you know, finishes top 4 and has a very good playoff run, Trick goes up even higher because he has been domestically so fantastic.
Yeah, so the reason I didn't put Trick higher, it comes down to a problem for him, but also a problem for G2 as a team, is how they can get over-aggressive. They can try and take it too far. You mentioned it a little bit. It happened at MSI. It's happened in Europe as well. He wants a little bit too much sometimes. And I think when you play on the international level against very experienced teams and junglers, you get punished for like invading in at the wrong time. If your mid lane is not in the right position, if you don't have a summoner spell ready. Small examples from MSI was where he actually did that. Think back to against Flash Wolves where he jumps the wall, or flash over the wall to go for that kill. He ends up dying and ends up giving away more. And this is the problem with Trick. Like, the guy is good, the guy knows he's really good. The team talks so highly of him all the time. He wants to show it every single game. And that's why I think it can go wrong for him. No one is going to fault him, like, individually. Another thing to look at maybe with Trick is it's his first World Championship. Yes, it was at MSI. The team wasn't even at MSI. There was just a bunch of players who were already splitting up, and it was a mess.
And
this is the first tournament.
They only maintained Perkz and Trick from that MSI tournament. So in a sense, it's about a second chance for him.
And that's why I say that, you know, it's about his individual play at MSI as opposed to his team play. I'm looking at like the first 10 minutes of the game where he was making those little mistakes. I think that the way he does get higher is becoming that selfless jungler, you know? We've already talked about how good he is mechanically, but sometimes he does go for Trick plays where he goes into the jungle very deep. And if he does manage to, you know, take that step back, really become the selfless player for G2, I see that he's be a superstar in the future.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this depends on how the jungle meta actually plays out when we get to MSI. How many jungle bans will we see, and how much will he need to support Perkz and expect in the laning phase, versus can he just play off of the super strong bottom lane down on the side? Because all of that stuff comes in to change things, but overall, number 14th, I'll give it the last word.
Yeah, I mean, I just again want to jump back to one of the points I made earlier, how versatile he is. You know, you talk about champion pool. He's played everything from Gragas to Kindred, you know, to these different picks. He even tried a Nunu. Didn't work out too well for him in G2, but he plays a lot of different things. He doesn't really sit on one style. And yeah, he wants to play with Mithy. Of course, he wants to invade with him. But at the same time, when Expect needs help, when Perkz needs help, Trick is there. He shows up, you know, he adapts to what happens. So I want to see more from this guy. I think in the future he's just going to get even better, but we need to see that Worlds and no over-aggression.
Yeah, with all of that being said, he is the highest ranked player from the European LCS, the 3rd ranked jungler on our list, number 14 overall, and that'll do it for Trick.